That's right. It is the Classic Metal Show right here on your burning empire known as the United States. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just sad.
It is. I agree. Have you heard
Yes.
the accounts as to why photos of Osama bin Laden's corpse have not been released?
I was unaware there were any. I thought we dumped the body in the ocean.
Well, they did, but there are photos that were taken.
I'm going to assume that it's because the Muslims will be very upset.
Well, that would be the ultimate wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, according to some of the guys, the
Marines,
the special ops guys,
Navy SEALs,
the Navy SEALs. There, that's what I was looking for.
Okay,
who took him out?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, all took their turn shooting this guy.
Oh, really?
Have you heard this?
No, I did not hear that. So he was dead and they just all fucking put one in him?
More than one.
Oh, nice.
Here's the real reason photos of Osama bin Laden's body haven't been released.
Okay. Where's this from? What highly reputable news outlet?
Business Insider.
Oh, really? It is a reputable one. Okay.
There are a lot of puzzled expressions on people's faces when it comes to the subject of the late Osama bin Laden and why the White House has not authorized the release of any pictures of his body.
Okay.
Photographs and videos were released of Saddam Hussein's hanging.
Right.
As well as a post-mortem picture of his criminal sons, Uday and Qusay.
Yeah.
After the Delta Force took them out.
That's right.
Why not release a few pictures of public enemy number one to prove he is dead and how the world, and show the world what happened when you take on the U.S. of A.?
Well, I'm sure we'll see him when Trump gets into office.
Sure. Matt Bissonette, no relation to Greg Bissonette.
Is he the drummer, the bass player? Isn't one of the Bissonettes is Matt Bissonette?
Yes.
That was in the Roth band.
Right.
There was Dave. There was Matt and
I think Greg.
Greg. Yeah, Matt and Greg.
Yeah.
Nice.
Matt Bissonette, one of the Navy SEAL Team 6 operators on the raid,
okay,
partially outs the reason in his book, No Easy Day.
Okay.
The book reads, in his death throes, he was still twitching and convulsing.
Okay.
Another assaulter and I trained our lasers on his chest and fired several rounds.
Ouch.
The bullets tore into him, slamming his body into the floor until he was motionless, Bissonette writes.
Okay.
But this is perhaps the most measured and polite description that one could give on how the operator after operator took turns dumping magazines worth of ammunition into bin Laden's body.
Holy smokes.
2 confidential sources within the community have told us. When all was said and done, UBL, Osama bin Laden, had over 100 bullets in him by the most conservative estimate.
Holy cow.
So they basically
they ripped him apart.
Yeah, tore him to pieces.
There couldn't have been much left after 100 bullets.
Yeah, they riddled him with bullets.
Holy cow.
Said, take that, you fucky.
Yeah, want to blow up our trade centers? Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
But was it illegal? Under the laws of land warfare, a soldier is fully authorized to put a few insurance rounds into his target after he goes down, provided the enemy is not surrendering.
Well, he wasn't.
It is morally, legally, and ethically appropriate to shoot the body a few more times to ensure that he is really dead and no longer a threat.
Okay, but 99?
However, what happened on bin Laden's raid is beyond excessive.
You think?
The level of excess shown was not about making sure that bin Laden was no longer a threat, the excess was pure self-indulgence.
Okay.
You may not care if bin Laden got some extra holes punched into him. Few of us do.
Yeah.
But what should concern you is a trend within certain special operation units to engage in this type of self-indulgent and ultimately criminal behavior.
Not even a little bit.
Gone unchecked, these actions get worse over time.
Not even a little bit. They need to be doing more of this kind of shit.
The real issue is not that bin Laden was turned into Swiss cheese, but rather this type of behavior has become a standard operating procedure in this unit.
Okay.
Of course, these attitudes and behaviors do not come out of nowhere. Endless back-to-back combat deployments, PTSD, broken families, and war itself all plays in.
PTSD, for God's sakes. These guys didn't get their asses grabbed.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah, or didn't get called nigger on a daily basis.
Hey, and the language continues.
Right.
Goodness. All right, go ahead.
Broken families and warfare itself all plays into this.
Sure.
Now you know the real reason why the Obama administration has not released pictures of Osama bin Laden's corpse. To do so would show the world a body filled with a ridiculous number of gunshot wounds.
Cool.
The picture itself would likely cause an international scandal, and investigations would be conducted which would uncover other operations activities which many will do anything to keep buried. And that's it.
You don't realize that this is war? This is one of my very big pet peeves as a former military guy. There should be no fucking rules.
Right.
Since the enemy that we now fight does not fight by the rules, then we shouldn't follow the fucking rules of engagement.
Sure.
We should be sticking grenades in their kids' mouths.
Right.
Blowing their fucking heads off right in front of the fucking wives. We should be fucking sending absolute fear to these people. You know, if we're embattled with them, we should be sending a solid message that it ain't going to be, you want to go out in the name of Allah? Good. Well, this is how we're going to send you there. Go ahead. Bring it. They should be doing it, but there's so much fucking bullshit. So what? They lit up a dead body. Big fucking deal. You know, what's worse, that or these guys that would fucking collect rings of ears in Vietnam?
Right.
Was that worse or is that better? There's nobody made a big deal about that, did they? Was that international scandal when in Vietnam?
Not that I'm aware of, but then again, I didn't live during, I wasn't an adult to understand all that. But from history that I've read and learned about, I did not hear or read that there was this outrage.
Yeah, not at all.
Over this.
No, and the Vietnamese that were fighting us knew that. That's why they went all the way. If they were going to get taken out, they would fucking take themselves out sometimes.
Sure.
Because they didn't want to deal with our guys. That made us a stronger military. Now with all this embedded journalists and all that shit, I'll tell you what, that'd be the first guy I'd be aiming at is the fucking journalist. When I was in the service, I mean, I didn't, but if it was the way it is today, first guy taking a bullet would be the fucking journalist. Just so that he can't stop me from doing what I need to do to save my own ass.
Right.
Fuck that. I'm not dying so that I don't have an international scandal. Fuck that. Stupid.
Sure.
Dumb.
Well, we are living in very, I don't know which one, unstable times, I guess.
Yeah. We are.